evolution of getting to where I am now in the work that I do really started in high school. In the summers, I was in high school overseas, and my folks basically said, if you want to come back to the States and not do summer school, you need to take a job working in service. So I took a job working for Head Start. It wasn't a job, it was an unpaid internship. So job is really stretching it. So it was an unpaid internship, and I applied thinking I would be spending my summer in New York, working for Head Start, because I thought it was an inner city program. And, I mean, we didn't have Google, we didn't have the internet, and, I just heard what I heard. So they called me before I came back from England, and they said, we're sending you to Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I knew South Dakota was a state, but I had no idea, I was 17 or just turned 17. And so I went out. It's a very amazing adventure how I got out there. But so I got to Pine Ridge, and it happened that my boss at Head Start was one of the founders of AIM, which is the American Indian Movement, which came out of the early 70s. And Roger Ironcloud was his name, and or is his name. He's still alive. He and Russell Means, Dennis Banks, these really extraordinary activists were the people I spent my first summer with out there. And it really helped to shape my approach and mindset on social justice, although I didn't know that it was called that then. To me, it was more of an imbalance of power in the world. So I started to really think in a different approach. I started to see things. And, I think when you're a teenager, you really go to, when you get caught up in something, a movement, you really go to an extreme, so I got, I wanted to, everything had to be, I wanted to be a hippie. I wanted to be so I started, with the music and, dealing with sort of the superficial things of a hippie culture. But because I had been in South Dakota and I went every summer, and then I wound up getting adopted into the family there, and we did a beautiful ceremony, and I'm still very close, and I go out there as often as I can, attending a lot of rituals and ceremonies, which has really opened my eyes to so many things. But so that really pushed me into this exploration of injustice in the world. And so moving forward for university, I wanted to study anthropology, but my real focus was on religious ceremonies. So I wound up going to a university in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I got my degree in liberation theology. So it was sort of the merging of political activism and religious or a belief system. So originally, liberation theology is based on a Christian or more of a Catholic sort of dogma, but not really. It's expanded into all areas, all religious systems, and it's the use of belief, religious and cultural belief for political. Sorry, you're gonna have to help me think of the word here. Political liberation. So from oppressed political regimes. So that was what I got my degree in, but I continued to work through that time at different agencies that applied the study. So when and then I wound up going back to London to the School of Oriental and African Studies to study Christian iconography and the African diaspora and the African Middle Passage and religious influence on the Caribbean. So it was like a lot of mismatch of things that brought me back to Miami. And Miami really is this sort of hub for all of that. We're a hub for cultures that were kidnapped and stolen from West Africa that have come over. We're a place for a door opener for South America, Central America, the Caribbean, West Africa. So all of these sort of cultures come together here. And it's a very interesting confluence. So coming back here and doing service just seemed like a natural stepping stone or evolution. I don't want to say stepping stone, evolution in my life.